What up, y'all? So, a while back, not a while back, maybe like a week or two ago, I made a post and I had made mention that I'd written a few books back in the days, two novels and and a children's book. And I think I'm gonna put the children's book out sometime in the near future. Cause really, I wrote that for my daughter, so I'm gonna put that out. So the first novel was what you see behind me. This is Thicker Than Water by yours truly, Atu Williams. So I self-published it several years ago, and it didn't, with self-publishing, you gotta do everything. You gotta do your own promotions, everything. So it didn't really do well. I think it's an excellent book. I think both my novels are excellent. It's my opinion, and people that I know that I've read it say the same thing. But it didn't do well. So life was life, and when I put this out, I don't know how long I had been home, but it hadn't been that long. I was busy, so I didn't have a lot of time to put in the hustling books and promoting books. So I just kind of forgot about it. But when I made mention of them recently in the post, excuse me, hold up. When I made mention of them, several people seemed to be interested. So I figured, maybe I share with y'all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go live. I can't say how often, but I'm gonna go live here and there. I'm gonna try to do it every day and share a little bit with y'all. So, if you like it, comment, let me know you like it, share the live. I'll probably, after I finish, I'll post it, whatever, share it with your friends, let them know. Send some gifts, whatever you want to do. Cash App in the bio. If you like it, basically just let me know. You don't got to give me nothing. Just let me know. So I'm gonna start off tonight. I'm gonna read you out a prologue, and then like I said, periodically I'll go live and share this with y'all. So this is my first novel, Thicker Than Water, by yours truly, Atu Williams. So let's first of all let me say. This book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are products of the author's imagination and are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or local persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental and intended to give the fiction a sense of reality and authenticity. So let's just give you an example of how long ago this was. This was 2008. I copyrighted this book in 2008. So the cover art is done by Kuzi Arts. They still in business. That's my brother, Intelligent Allah. Kuzi Arts. He does business cards, logos, book covers. You can Google and find him if you need some artwork done. Official brother. Okay, so let's start off. Y'all ready? Like I said, let me know if y'all like it. Show some love, like the live, what have you. Prologue. I heard the phone ringing. I knew I should answer, but I couldn't move. It felt like I had a sack of bricks in my pocket and my head ached like someone had taken one out and hit me with it a few times. My girl, Injari, lay between the phone and me. She didn't move either. I vaguely remembered her screaming something at me earlier about never being home. My head was full of images from the night before, liquor, weed, and women. So it was hard to tell if the argument had taken place 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago. My eyelids were so heavy, they felt like they were glued shut. I managed to pry an eye open and saw the clock on the nightstand beside the bed. It was 7:45 a.m. It had been about a half an hour since Injari and I had had that one-sided argument. I was silly enough to try and sneak in the house like there was a chance she wouldn't be waiting up for me. The phone continued to ring. I rolled over and saw Injari pretending to be asleep. She had that little wrinkle on her forehead that pops up whenever she's annoyed, so I knew she was upset. Still, she was beautiful. I chuckled to myself at the thought of her so-called mean face. She could never look mean, no matter how hard she tried, and she really does try. Her high cheekbones, full lips, and oval-shaped face give her a classic model-like beauty that nobody can deny. For the third time that week, I silently admitted that she deserved more quality time. The phone was still ringing. I reached over Injari and answered it, but didn't say anything at first. I just listened. After a few seconds of silence, my little brother Derek's voice came over the line. "I know you ain't sleeping," he said. "D, why are you calling here so early?" I asked. "The fuck do you mean, why am I calling, Tone? Stop playing games with me. It's raining outside." "What?" I couldn't believe he woke me up to give me a weather report. I said it's raining. Wake the fuck up. I was still half asleep, so it took a second for my brain to register what he was saying. It finally clicked and I jumped up and ran to the window. Not only was it raining, it was pouring. Where are you, I asked. Church Avenue train station, he answered after taking a deep breath. What are you doing over there? I was going to check this broad on 18th Street, but it started raining, so I called you. Where's your boy Jai? I called this house first. His mother said he never came home last night. Fuck him, I said. Go to Trey's house, I'll call and tell him you're on your way. D didn't bother responding, he just hung up. I dialed Trey's number and he surprised me by picking up on the first ring. What up, he answered, sounding wide awake. You up already, I asked? Yeah, son, me and Tiffany been beefing ever since I got home. Now she's getting ready for work and she ain't trying to let me get no sleep. You ain't alone, son, and Jari is tight too, I chuckled. You see the rain? Yeah, I was getting ready to call you. Shit popping or what? Hell yeah, shit popping, I announced. D is on his way over there to pick you up. We need a fourth man though. What happened to Ja? Trey inquired. Who knows? See if you can get one of them dudes off the block. All they gotta do is drive the car. When D gets there, y'all hurry the fuck up and get over here. I thought about it for a second and added, don't ring the bell, you might wake Jari up. I'll meet y'all downstairs. I'm already up, she yelled. I was so busy talking on the phone that she had sat up without me noticing. And tell your man Trey you ain't going nowhere this morning, she added. I cut my hand over my mouth and the receiver and whispered, downstairs, hurry up. And Jari watched me hang up the phone and rolled her eyes as I sat back on the bed and kissed her on the neck. I'm not playing, Anthony, she said, pushing me off of her. Today is my day off and you promised to stay home. I threw my arms around her and held her close. Listen, baby, I'm coming right back. You know we've been waiting for a rainy day for a while now. So what? Why you always gotta go? Why can't they do it by themselves? I frowned. You know I have to keep an eye on my little brother. She got up and looked at me over her shoulder as she walked towards the bathroom. Don't be surprised if I'm gone when you get back. Where the hell are you going? Out, she snapped. I pushed past her and blocked the entrance to the bathroom. Don't play with me, Ma. If I come home when you're gone, then don't bother coming back. I'll send your shit to your mother's house. You stay beefing, but you spend more money around here than I do. If I start staying home, your little shopping sprees are dead. She sucked her teeth and flopped down on the bed. I was bullshitting about kicking her out, but she didn't know it. We'd been together for what seemed like forever, and I couldn't imagine living without her. I just had to make a point. Her eyes told me she got the message, so I moved out the doorway and let her into the bathroom. I listened to her get in the shower, and then I gave her a few minutes to calm down before joining her. My tongue was in her mouth before she could soap up her wash rag. The next thing she knew, we were making love under the flowing water, and she had completely forgotten she was ever upset. I know you're probably wondering why there's so much excitement over the rain. Let me explain. Although we prefer the title armed robbers, me, my brother, and my friend Trey are what they call stick-up kids. Some people confuse us with thieves, but there's a difference. Thieves sneak around in the dark and steal stuff. Where's the honor in that? We stand up and take what we want, which gives the victim an opportunity to fight for what's theirs if they want to. Nobody respects a thief. It's a coward's profession. Anyway, some Dominicans owned a small grocery store on Myrtle Avenue in downtown Brooklyn. The grocery business couldn't have been doing that good because our Dominican friends were selling marijuana on the side. Yes, marijuana, weed, trees, whatever you want to call it. They were moving plenty of it. The rule usually is, wherever there's weed being sold, there's money to be taken. We watched the store for about a month and decided it would be pretty easy to hit. There was only one problem. It was located on an extremely busy street. On top of that, the front window was so big that people in the shops across the street could see directly inside. We agreed that we needed a rainy day to pull it off. A steady fall of rain would clear the streets and distort the view from across the street. Ever since we made that decision, the rain seemed like it would never come. Now it was finally here, and I wasn't letting anything get in my way. I left Njari in the shower after giving her what she wanted, and then got dressed, needing a shower more than I did before I got in there with her. Trey, D, and Trey's man Ty were waiting for me downstairs in the car. I jumped in and they all started laughing. The fuck is so funny, I barked. Trey leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes and shook his head. You had to fuck her before you left, huh? I smiled and told them, shut up and drive. They all laughed again as we pulled off. Everything seemed perfect when we finally reached downtown. All the shops across the street were empty and the sidewalk was practically deserted except for a few high school kids who didn't look like they intended on going anywhere near the school that day. We lucked up and found a parking space right around the corner. We got out the car ready to go. I had a Tech 9mm assault rifle in a blue Nike duffel bag, and my brother and Trey both had 9mm handguns in the waistbands of their jeans. We told Ty to wait outside by the car and then headed towards the store. It may sound crazy, but we didn't have any type of plan. We'd robbed so many places together in the past that it became like a second nature. We didn't even consider the fact that we were still drunk and high from the night before, or how that could affect our judgment. The inside of the store looked just as I remembered in the past. In fact, it was exactly the same. The weed was their best-selling product, so most of the stuff on the shelves was spoiled. I had a box of crackers and noticed the dusty fingerprint I'd left during a visit a week earlier. I cracked a joke to my brother about how old the stuff was on the shelves and ran my finger across the box to emphasize a point. I realized my foolish error and used my shirt sleeve to remove the print. One of us came and checked on the spot at least once a week since we decided to rob it. That's what I was doing when I left the print. As I said, things looked exactly the same until we noticed an important difference. The door leading behind the counter was closed. It had always been open before then, but for some reason, some strange reason, things were different this morning. Still, I wasn't going to let it discourage me. Trey was another story. He sucked his teeth and walked out of the store. I gave Dee a confused look and we walked and followed Trey outside. I didn't say a word till we got back to the car. "The fuck is wrong with you?" I asked him. "The door was closed," Trey answered. Sorry about that, y'all. These pages. "So you walk out? They probably in there right now wondering what the hell is going on." Derek interrupted our little dispute. "I know we're not walking away from this one," he said. "Hell no," I replied. "We've been waiting on this one for too long to just walk away." Trey scratched his head and appeared to be in a deep thought before saying, "Okay, D, you hold down the front door. Me and Tone are going to make them open the door." Every agreed and we went back in. The two guys behind the counter studied us with confused looks. It didn't take long for them to figure out what was going on because Trey had quickly pulled out his gun and pointed at them through the small opening in the bulletproof glass that they'd put up around the counter for protection. "Open the fucking door," Trey demanded. No inglés, the two guys replied. Trey reached through the hole and grabbed one of them with his free hand while the other guy watched in amazement. "Open the door, I'll kill you," he demanded. No inglés, the guy kept saying. It was obvious we were getting nowhere, so I reached into my bag and pulled out the tech. The quiet guy suddenly sprang to life. Machine gun, he yelled, and ran to open the door. Our instincts kicked in after we got behind the counter. I put the two guys out on the floor and used duct tape to cover their mouths and secure their arms and legs. When that was done, Trey started to search for the drugs and money. "There's a crowd forming out here," D yelled from the front. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "People are lining up waiting to get in. Mostly high school kids. What do you want me to do?" I looked at Trey and shrugged my shoulders. Trey smirked and said, "Drag them in the back." We pulled the two men out of sight and then Trey called up front to D and told him to let a few people in at a time. He'd found a box of $10 bags up under the counter and served the customers while I interrogated the two workers. I kneeled in front of our two bound and gagged captives and politely asked where the money was. They both gave me stupid looks like they didn't have any idea what I was talking about. I pulled an orange box cutter from my pocket and pushed the blade up. The guy who had opened the door started to tremble, so I approached the other one. That's something I learned at an early age. Fuck the tough guy up, and the scared one will do whatever you ask. I asked one last time where the money was, but received no answer. So I slowly pressed the blade into the center of the tough guy's forehead and guided it around his eye and down the side of his face. The tape prevented him from screaming. He just moaned and shook violently as his blood dripped to the floor. I turned back to the other guy and nodded. Fear covered his face. It looked like his eyes were going to pop out of his head. He motioned towards a large box up on a shelf. I grabbed the box and smiled when I opened it as I found several pounds of weed and a bag full of money stashed under some bags of coffee. I headed back to the counter and saw Trey telling someone to come back in 20 minutes because we were all out. I just laughed and told him I found what we came for. Good, he replied, because I done sold all this shit. We filled the box with Newports and calling cards because we knew they would sell easily in the street. There would always be smokers and the cards were the new big thing at the time. I snatched the keys off the hook and locked the front door on the way out. We stopped at the car, put everything, including the guns, in the trunk. Todd drove to my house while the rest of us headed for the train station. Separating ourselves from the money and guns was a precaution that we always took. That way, the police wouldn't get the money if we happened to get caught. We never fooled ourselves. Each of us knew that getting caught was a possibility. We also knew that somewhere out there was one job that would pay enough to set us straight for life. Trust me, when I say the guns won't go in the trunk if we find that job, We're not going down easy if it involves big money. We'll put down anybody that tries to stand in our way, cops and all. Besides, I made sure to take the trunk key off the ring before giving him the tie. I wasn't really about him robbing us, because if he did, he knew he could never come back to the neighborhood. But just in case he was stupid, I wasn't going to make it any easier for him by giving him the key. We met up at my house an hour later to split everything up, and Jari blasted the television from the bedroom, and I got her message quickly and got them out of the house. It was time to give my woman some much needed attention. That's the prologue, Thicker Than Water by I2 Williams. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I'll be back soon and give y'all a piece of the first chapter. Hopefully we can get through the whole book together and y'all can share y'all opinions and let me know what's going on, man. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.